Hello, good people. As you know, if I'm coming to you with a video, it's because I have something to say of meaning. As I'm moving around, repositioning things in my personal life, I just wanted to stress in this video, as you can see from the title, the thumbnail, is moving abroad, you must do your research. And it's always been prevalent, so I don't want to make this like I came up with something groundbreaking, like I'm saying something that people with common sense and knowledge didn't already know. We all know that preparation is necessary when moving abroad, of course. You're going to a foreign place, you're going to a place that could be possibly many hours away from where you were born, from your original country, by plane. So when you're going that far and you're taking these chances and you're doing these things, obviously we know research. But in this current geopolitical climate that we're in, it is very prevalent for all people to not only do the research on the place where you're going as far as cost of living, safety, how locals welcome you or not, how much condos or apartments or homes or whatever you can buy there is. When you're checking for the regular things, the weather, do you like the place? Now you need to be more conscious than ever where this country stands geopolitically with America or Israel or any country with nuclear capabilities, because at this current stage in life that we're living, if your country doesn't have nuclear capabilities, you might as well not even have a country. And that's not just my opinion. We can break that down factually if you want to go down that lane, but it's just common sense. You can't deny the threat that will be imposed on you by violent countries that don't mind using military resources to extract your resources or your land or whatever the Europeans want at that time. And when I say that to say, when you're picking a country now, like I see a lot of videos, because since I live in Thailand and I live in Malaysia part of the time and I live in Indonesia, I get a lot of content funneled to my YouTube showing these countries. And I'm seeing a pattern of people still making the same videos with the same rhetoric, which can still be relevant and true as far as cost of living, moving to Thailand, people that have recently moved to Thailand, and for people who are thinking of moving to Thailand. I want to point this out to you as a person who doesn't just travel nonchalantly, who travels knowledgeably and knows extensive amounts of things about these countries because I study them. I'm not no professor. I'm not any person who is in the business of making my money off geopolitics in any fashion or way. I didn't go to school and bust my brain and waste a bunch of money on some tuition somewhere trying to learn what they were teaching there. This is from travel to more countries than I can count. This is from doing actual research in countries, their background, their culture, how the country was formed, how it runs financially, how important it is financially to other countries. And this is not research from other YouTubers. This is research from actually getting into the actual research of going to these countries and doing research proven off of documents that are proven and recognized as facts to everyone with a brain that is considered a human. So these aren't my thoughts just coming out of anywhere, which is why I always tell people to fact check anything you see me say on this camera. If you're like, oh, that sounds weird to me, fact check it. So I say all that to say, I'm not claiming to be any professional. I'm claiming to be a person who lives abroad, who moved out of America, who lives in multiple different countries, been to more countries than I can count as documented, and can tell you that you need to be really aware, no matter how interested you are in politics, which is a big reason some people move from America. They want to be detached from the whole rigor of political tension and all this, having to be conscious of politics. So they claim to be people who don't even pay attention to this stuff, and that's why they moved. I meet a lot of them abroad. So I say all that to say, when you're in these situations, you must know that politics is no reason to move from your country unless your country's under war or there's just no opportunity there. Because in a structure like America, politically, you will not change anything. The ruling class, the wealthy Europeans, the ones that control the wealth. America's a very wealthy country, but the people aren't wealthy. The average American doesn't have $1,000 in case of an emergency. And these just aren't people running around twiddling their thumbs. Some of these people are hardworking people that, might have over leveraged credit, which is a big trap in America. So there's many ways to fall into financial despair in America very quickly. So when people move abroad, a lot of them detach from politics, detach from what's going on in America. And that might have been fine years ago, even though it was an illusion then and not smart then for you to just think you could just travel and move anywhere as an American and not have to worry about political things. But now it's more prevalent than ever because as we know, America and Israel have attacked Iran, and that war is still going, as you could tell from my last video when I was speaking when this had first jumped off. Now that they are fully engaged and it is still going on, the research, the aggression shown by America to steal the oil, because that's what that's about for them, and Israel to wipe the Iranians out completely because that's their mission for the Greater Israel Project. We get to a point now to where when you're moving, the Middle East has to be off your list. Moving to the UAE right now is just not a common sense move. It doesn't take me to tell you all the reasons why that wouldn't be safe now, but I'm using that as an example of a place that was completely safe over a month ago to where now you cannot even think about, if you're a person with common sense, definitely a family or a person who cares about your own life and safety, think that it's intelligent to move to these places. They've been exposed, they're vulnerable. The UAE, Dubai, and all these countries, they'll never have the same allure again. Saudi Arabia, because if you have enormous amounts of wealth, it makes no sense for you to live in these places. To whereas, like I say, a little over a month ago, these were highly destination places for people with wealth that are doing certain business. Because it was a low tax area and the illusion of safety when America was supposed to be providing that safety, which is the original agreement for the petrodollar and the deal that Nixon made. America is supposed to provide protection for Saudi Arabia, who made the deal, and in return, all oil bought from any countries will be bought with the U.S. currency, which is what allows America to get up to this $37 trillion in debt that they are, because it always creates a demand for the US dollar. If every country, no matter who you are, has to purchase their oil, which is a major resource to everyone who has a human society and country, you need it. There's no way around it. This gives you tremendous power, and your dollar's always in demand. Also, Saudi Arabia and these people reinvest that money that they make from the oil into buying debt from America. But I say all that to say these are more things you can fact check if you think I'm just pulling these things out of air. I get to the point of, in Southeast Asia, I'm seeing videos made for Thailand, which I still own my condo in Bangkok in the Chitloam. It's the business area. I still rent in Hua Hin, and I rent also in Koh Samui. I say all that to say, in Thailand right now, fuel is already starting to be affected by what's going on with the war. And all these people I see you telling them to move to Thailand, they're still showing the same videos. You can live here cheap, you can get condos cheap, it's so much cheaper than America and all this kind of stuff. The food's great, the people are nice. All that is still true and very prevalent. I'm saying this, they're not telling you what's going on with how they are being affected by the war. Gas in Bangkok specifically, and in other parts of Thailand that I've been, is getting to a shortage. Gas stations are overrun. A lot of stations don't have gas. And anybody who's been to Southeast Asia knows that there's a lot of motorbikes, there's a lot of tuk-tuk, there's a lot of cars, there's a lot of traffic in general, and a lot of things that depend on oil. And unlike America, the Strait of Hormuz being closed does affect them because that's where their oil comes from. It's not like America. America is just purely gas gauging you right now because they can. The opportunity's there, and they will always choose the finance over the people when it comes to big business or government. So they're just overpricing you right now, and they don't even have to, because the gas that America gets, the oil, doesn't even come from there. The area being affected, isn't that something? But they're unique characters, and in America, whatever you can do, however cutthroat to get financial gain or to obtain wealth, is going to be done. It's just culturally embedded. But I say all that to say, Southeast Asia now is taking on a different landscape. You have to be conscious if you're going to move over there and put your retirement into these kind of countries to where they're going to be experiencing financial hardships. And financial hardships are going to be felt everywhere by different countries in different ways. So you must research that. You must know how this country is going to be affected with not just oil, but also with this Strait of Hormuz being choked. It also, which commendable to Iran. I respect the move, and it's definitely what you need to do. Strongest country right now that I see going is Iran, with standing up to maintaining their country culture, and the people there are very strong. regardless of your opinion, you have to respect people who will fight for what is theirs and not fight trying to take what is not theirs. And Iran, I respect that. But let's get back to the point that I was making about how you have to know how also agriculture, a lot of fertilizer, a lot of them kind of products come from within that Strait of Hormuz to these countries as well. So a lot of that's going to be affected. And in Thailand, if you're a foreigner, definitely an American, and you make any respectable amount of money, you're going to be able to fly above board. You're going to still have your basic luxuries as far as cheap luxury living, food quality, prices, even if they go up a little bit to you with American money as it goes to the bot, you still are at a tremendous advantage, especially if you make any reasonable amount of money, you know, 3 to 4 to 5,000 a month or more American. You can still dominate there. I'm not saying that it's not going to affect you that much, but you'll notice little changes and maybe shortages of things. But if you drive there, fuel's going to be more prevalent, and you're going to have to deal with these problems. So you want to know how that's going to affect quality of life. A lot of things, even if you're a foreigner living financially above the locals, you will still be affected if the locals are affected tremendously, because it's going to change things for you as well as a foreigner. As the locals get as they have to go through adjustments, you're going to have to go through adjustments, because these people provide your basic services. When you're living in any other country, you're depending on the locals. My cleaner, my maid, my chef, all that in these countries is locals. And when I say these things, I've a maid, a chef in multiple countries, it's because this is not America I'm talking about. I'm talking about Southeast Asia. In Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, I've a maid. In Thailand, I've a maid. And also in Indonesia, when I'm there, I'll have a chef come. And this is very inexpensive if you have U.S. currency. So I say all that to speak to the quality of life is definitely still there in these places. But you have to make sure, if you're coming from a place to where, you don't have to face all these things you might have to face moving to a different country because of what's going on as far as the war, then you want to try and avoid a country that's going to put you in a hardship, especially if you're not just a solo traveler and every move you make only affects you. If you're moving with a family, definitely children. If you're moving a business, if you're planning on going to a country starting a business, if you're planning on going to a country and getting property right now or any of that kind of stuff, you need to redirect and re-knowledge yourself, if that's a word. I don't like that. I don't think re-knowledge is a word. Let's go with you need to educate yourself. My mother was a teacher for 37 years, so she would be so disappointed if I left that like that. So I say all that to say you have to gain more knowledge in the areas of even things that you might have had previous knowledge in. Like you might have been studying the research and on how to get a condo or how to get a home in a country before all this happened. Like in Dubai, if you were looking there, the landscape has changed now with the real estate and the opportunities, and maybe what were opportunities aren't opportunities now. So use that common knowledge. So think about where you're going to move as far as geopolitically. It's more important than ever right now, which is why I titled this, you must have the research if you're globetrotting. It's a part of it now, and you have to be responsible for these things, and all the information's out there. You need to, as an adult, a grown person, know what's going on. Men, as the head of your family, you need to know where you're moving your family. Is it safe? Are there resources? What's going to happen if this happens? What's my escape route? I told you in the last video, I had friends that couldn't get out of Dubai. America didn't send any help for them or resources. They had to use their own if they had it, and if they didn't, a lot of Americans were sleeping in lobbies of hotels in Dubai. There was no aid for them. So think about the exit plan. Is this country directly in threat from America or Israel? If the Europeans want resources that your country has, that might not be a safe country to be in long term. And I'm not speaking on all Europeans, I'm speaking on the power structure as we know with people with common sense. When I say Europeans, I'm talking about the whites, the kinds that came to America and stole that land by way of genocide. These are the power structure, not the average white human walking around in America. They are totally oblivious and have no bear on what goes on. I'm not blaming them. There's plenty of good people in America, but the government is not of those people. So I say all that to get to the point of, if you are moving right now, no, if you're leaving America, and I have a million views on America, one thing I don't do is go out of America and badmouth America, because that's not useful. First of all, these people in different countries have no compassion for you, and also it's just not decent to do, especially if you are using the American currency to dominate in an area. Regardless of my views, I don't use them or say them there. And I don't just spew them out loud anyway, because the truth is the truth. I don't really have views, I have truth. Just the facts of the matter. And right now, if you're in a country that potentially has resources or land that America or Israel wants to obtain, you don't want to be there if you're not definitely if you're not from that country and you don't have any claim to the soil, you want to be in safe areas, which is why I'm pivoting myself to go back towards Colombia. I used to live in Colombia, thinking about going back to Medellin, I only rent in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I rent in Indonesia. So these are 1-year rentals, as you know. Anybody who travels, or if you don't know, it's very easy to obtain these in Southeast Asia. So I'll maintain my ownership in my condo in Bangkok and always have that and use it as a hub. I have a lot of things there, so that's fine. But I will not be there in the next couple months. I will be going closer back towards the United States of America, but not in America for any long periods of time ever again in life. But I'll go back to Colombia, and I'm doing that because even though there's things I don't like about Colombia, I love it overall. The weather's good. You know, Medellin, of course, is called the land of eternal spring. The weather's always beautiful. I always take a burner phone. I don't just laptop and chill at Starbucks. So I know all the safety things. I speak Spanish, so as long as you know Espanol, which is very prevalent in what you need to know if you're going to be in Colombia long term for safety matters and for communication purposes, you need to, it's a beautiful place. So I will be probably going back there, getting closer to there, just weathering the storm, see how things go over the next couple years. And you know, gas prices really don't affect me because I don't drive in these countries, but it does